Yo. Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. I'm a headliner.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Today we continue our NFL playoff breakdowns. In this matchup, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Tennessee Titans. Looking forward to this game. However, before we get into the matchup, I have to remind you, you can see a few items right here over my left shoulder that we're going to be giving away here in the week leading up to the Super Bowl. We have a signed Austin Eckler jersey and a signed full-size helmet of Justin Herbert. Everybody wants this giveaway. This may be one of the bigger items we've had all year long, and I'm looking forward to giving away. But a lot of people asking questions, hey, how can I get entered into this giveaway? It's super simple. I'll throw up a graphic here. You have to make sure you head over to pristineauction.com. There's a link down below in the description. Sign up for a free account using the promo code Headliners. If you've already done this in the past, you're already eligible. And then there's a few different ways to gain entries. You can pre-order a 2022 fantasy football draft guide. You can become a member here on YouTube and click that join button down below. You can sign up for a new account through Prize Picks, right? We're winning a lot of money here during the playoffs. You can sign up for a new account, use the promo code Headliners there, make your initial $20 deposit. We'll match you all the way up to a $100 deposit, and then you're good to go for another entry. Tons of different ways to make sure you can get your name in the hat for this huge giveaway. But now is the time we're going to dive into this matchup. So let's go ahead and bring up some of the initial information here. All right, here we go. It's a game being played Saturday, January 22nd, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Nashville, Tennessee. Now, it's on the East Coast, right? It gets dark early, and it's cold because there's no dome there in Tennessee. We're looking right around 32 degrees Fahrenheit at the time of the game, but really no chance of precipitation right now, sitting at only 5%, very light to minimal wind. Nothing we should really have to worry about. Could be a little bit chilly, but that's about it. So let's go ahead and move on down to the season ranks then, and kind of see where these two teams stand against each other. And we'll go ahead and start off here with the Cincinnati Bengals coming off their emotional playoff win. You know, their confidence is high, and they're looking to continue this streak heading in deeper into the postseason. So let's take a look at where they finished here throughout the regular season. So they finished the year 10-7, 23rd in rushing offense, which is kind of crazy, right? Because Joe Mixon had himself a pretty solid year. And when you kind of look at Joe Mixon and you look at it from a fantasy perspective and how high he finished, a lot of that had to do with touchdowns. Overall volume and yardage wasn't really there as a whole for the entire offense. That's why they're going to finish 23rd. Passing offense, no surprise here, right? When you got Jamar Chase, when you got T. Higgins, when you got Tyler Boyd, when you got CJ Who's Your Mama, and you got Joe Burrow back there just dealing on a weekly basis, you're going to have a high-powered passing offense. They finished 7th there. Rushing defense, does anybody give the Cincinnati Bengals credit for their rushing defense? Because honestly, when you just look at the Bengals, you're like, their defense isn't that good, right? That's what a lot of people think, and that's really because their passing defense finishing 26th overall, but their rushing defense, pretty solid. What is Tennessee really known for? Running the football, right? Even though they lost Derrick Henry after 8 weeks of the season, they still finished 5th overall in the NFL in rushing offense. They finished the year 12-5, but where they really struggled, is it a surprise? Passing offense, right? Julio Jones couldn't stay healthy. A.J. Brown couldn't stay healthy the entire year. They're constantly an uphill battle when it comes to the passing game, so they're heavily reliant on running the football. Do they get Derrick Henry back in this football game? That's what we're going to talk about here in a second. Their passing offense, we know, not up there with the elite levels, kind of similar to what we talked about with Cincinnati. Rushing defense, though, really tough to run against the Tennessee Titans. Not exactly, a matchup that you're trying to exploit. So for the Cincinnati Bengals side of the things, are they really going to rely heavily on the ground game? They may not need to, because the Tennessee Titans rank 25th in passing defense. To me, that's enough to make me start drooling if I'm the offensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals, because I want Joe Burrow to go out there, light it up once again, put up points in a hurry, get a lead, so Tennessee can't rely on that running game. Are there any injury concerns in this ballgame? Let's go ahead and take a look there. And really, there's only one name to pay close attention to. It's one that we're all thinking about, right? It's Derrick Henry, Tennessee Titans. Now, technically, still on the IR. His practice window was opened up here recently. He's been practicing, and honestly, at practice, he looks pretty dang good. Does he play in this ball game? I have to think he does. And now, does he go out there and see 30 touches? Possibly not. Donta Foreman was a very viable option in this backfield second half of the season. He's no Derrick Henry by any means, but we just talked about how the rush defense of the Cincinnati Bengals is pretty solid. If Cincinnati can get a lead, they may not be able to totally rely on the run in Tennessee, which could also limit the potential upside of Derrick Henry. Like I said, though, I expect him to play in this ballgame. The Titans getting that number 1 overall seed, that extra bye week here, total blessing for them, because this is really the only reason that they have this opportunity to start Derrick Henry here this week. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not exceeding expectations in his first game back. Trying to be a little bit more realistic. Love King Henry, but I don't know if it's enough for them to overcome. One thing that is a positive, really the biggest injury on the Bengals side of things, is they've lost defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi. He's now on the IR, out with a foot injury, injured last week. So that's going to help open up potentially some holes in the middle of the defensive line for Derrick Henry. But we'll go ahead and head into the storylines here real quick and kind of see what we're looking at overall. And obviously, the number one thing that everybody wants to talk about, like we've already mentioned here, is Derrick Henry. Does he play? Like I said, I believe he does. I don't think he gets a full workload. They still have, a viable option behind him in Donta Foreman, but I do think we see the return of King Henry here this week. Difficult matchup, like we said, against that run defense of Cincinnati. But what they really need to pay attention to here is, can the Tennessee defense, can that secondary slow down Joe Burrow? So far this year, that's been their Achilles heel, right? They haven't been able to stop the ball through the air. And now you get a confident Joe Burrow coming off a playoff win with arguably the best rookie wide receiver that we've seen in a long time in Jamar Chase. And then you pair that with T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, CJ Who's Your Mama, and we haven't even mentioned one of the best running backs in football yet in Joe Mixon, who's very capable of catching balls out of the backfield. That's going to be the biggest uphill battle here, in my opinion, for the Tennessee Titans. Can they keep the score close? Because if this gets to a 2-score lead or more early in the ballgame, they're not going to be able to rely on Derrick Henry. How does Tennessee win this ballgame? They keep the game close, they rely on their running game, they continue to chew up clock, and they keep the ball out of the hands of Joe Burrow. Now, a lot of people want to look at the Titans last week and they got the week off, right? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It obviously helps them in the way of potentially getting Derrick Henry back, right? But you also have a team now that's, get a little bit extra confidence in Cincinnati coming off of a playoff win. Do we have that same energy coming this week from the Tennessee Titans? Now, head coach Mike Vrabel always has these guys to play 100%. Like I said, they may not be a sexy team to watch, but they're always prepared for their opponent. It's all going to come down to who gets the lead first. Whoever gets the lead early in this ballgame is going to be able to kind of dictate game script, right? If Tennessee gets the ball early and they score a couple touchdowns, they get up early, expect a lot of Derrick Henry and Donta Foreman. If Cincinnati comes out and they're, controlling the time of possession, they're up 2 scores early, we may not see a whole lot of Derrick Henry on the ground, but we could see a whole lot more A.J. Brown, maybe Julio Jones through the air, and we could really turn this into an offensive battle, one that I don't think Tennessee can keep pace with the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's really going to all depend here who gets that early lead. Now, if you want to be entered into the giveaway for the Justin Herbert helmet and the Austin Eckler jersey, one of the ways to do that is to sign up for Prize Picks. So we include Prize Picks in each and every one of these videos. The 2 that I'm looking at here in this matchup, I'm going with Joe Burrow. Right now, his passing completion prop over on Prize Picks is set at 24. That's a number he's exceeded well over the past few weeks. We know that he's going to be able to move the ball through the air against the Tennessee Titans, who have one of the best run defenses. So I expect a heavy passing day from Joe Burrow. 24 pass completions is where I'm going to take the over there. And like I said earlier on, I expect Cincinnati to get a lead early, which means they're going to have to throw the ball in Tennessee. Their number 1 pass catcher, their big play guy, A.J. Brown. Right now, his receiving prop set at 71.5, and I'm going to take the over there as well. But this is the spot that everybody wants to know, the Manscaped prediction of the week here for this ball game. And honestly, I'm going to continue to ride the Who Day train here, and I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals upsetting the Tennessee Titans 27-20. I just don't know if this offense of the Cincinnati Bengals can be stopped through the air enough, and they just squeak out a 1-score victory here against the number 1 seeded Tennessee Titans. But this is where we love to stay interactive. Leave those comments down below. Who do you want to win this ball game? Who do you think is going to win this ball game? In my opinion, the Cincinnati Bengals are one of the most exciting teams in football to watch right now. A confident Joe Burrow, a dominant Jamar Chase. I mean, it's just a fun overall offense to watch. And honestly, the deeper we get into the playoffs, you're starting to see a lot more of these offensive juggernauts kind of take over. In years past, it's all been built around defense and running the football. we're kind of in the age of a lot of throwing right now, and Cincinnati's in a very good position to continue their playoff streak. So leave those comments down below. Let me know what you think is going to happen in this ballgame, and do me a favor, hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. We'll be doing football content all off season long to make sure you're ready for all things NFL and fantasy football here for the entire 2022 season. So look forward to hearing from you down below. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day, a good week, and we'll talk to you later.